Okay, so before I get into this, I just want to let you know I am right-handed. I use my right hand for many tasks in my daily life, one including using a mouse. So obviously, when it comes down to playing an intense rhythm-based game, I would need to use my dominant hand, right? Well, yeah, normally that's what I do, and what most, if not all people do. Now, as seen in the title, the intense rhythm-based platformer that I mentioned is obviously Geometry Dash, a game which I've played many hours of, and a game which I enjoy. But what if I told you that randomly one day I decided to attempt to complete all of the main levels with my non-dominant hand? Yeah, that's right, I decided to try and complete every RobTop level with my left hand, and this is how my experience of how it went. Obviously, when it comes down to the first 10-ish levels, this challenge isn't too hard considering they are so godforsakenly easy. The only problem I would say I have to face is flying and spam parts. Anyway, Stereo Madness was an actual walk in the park considering it's the first level, so it really is no surprise that it was easy. I cruised along with one attempt and moved on to back on track. Much like Stereo Madness, this level was easy as hell, but it's only the second level, so there really wasn't much to expect. But there was one thing I noticed while playing this challenge, and that straight flying isn't actually all too hard, it's just mainly the intense spam will be one issue in future levels. So, this is the infamous level which introduces jump orbs, something that will become extraordinarily frequent in future levels. Again, this level was as easy as always, and I dashed through with only one attempt. And hey, I've mentioned this before, the first 10 levels will be a piece of cake, and I'm not wrong, am I? Well, I have to say, this is where the levels start to get slightly harder, as Dryad introduces the gravity portal, something that will become so frequent that going upside down is just normal at a certain point. But much like literally all the other levels, I one attempted this easily. Come on, is there really a point to explaining how hard these first few levels were? Honestly, it's just the same thing. But anyway, Base After Base is basically like Dry Out, but slightly harder with some different gameplay. And of course, I beat it in one attempt, like always. Can't Let Go was slightly harder than the rest, and it shows. This is the first level where I got somewhat nervous about dying, especially on the upside down black part, considering I decided to go get the final coin. Although again, I smoothly avoided each deadly spike and got to safety in just one measly attempt. Despite Jumper technically being a harder level than Can't Let Go, I didn't feel nervous about dying in this, maybe because of the fact that the music is much happier and upbeat compared to the intense and stressful Can't Let Go. Anyway, one attempt at this level as well, no surprise. Time Machine, everyone's favourite level, the level filled with triple spikes literally everywhere. Oh, and not to mention the amazing portal which everyone has all forgotten about. This level is significantly harder than Jumper, but it's still an easy level that I completed in just one attempt. Finally, a new game mode. This level is slightly harder than the rest, but it's still an easy level which I flew through in one attempt. Thankfully though, unlike Time Machine, Psycho wasn't smothered with triple spikes. Although I had quite a lot, it just wasn't nearly as much as the previous level. Oh no guys, we're starting to trek into the insane levels. Honestly, XStep was so goddamn easy. Of course I one attempted it like always, but I sort of expected to come at least close to dying in this level. Guess I was just wrong. Well, crap, this was the first level where I actually died. 6 times in fact. Clutterfunk is where the main levels begin to pick up in difficulty. This is the point where each level is going to become off as a challenge for me. Although, despite only dying 6 times, I cruised along it and went to the following level. Despite being the next level and being of the same difficulty, Theory of Everything was much easier than Clutterfunk. I ended up not dying a single time on this level, thank God. Something that is cool though is the implementation of a new game mode that will be seen many times in the future, the UFO. Electroman Adventures was honestly probably easier than Theory of Everything. I glided along like it was nothing in this level in just one attempt. The song to this level was so goddamn good that I had to pause the game and painstakingly navigate my left hand over to the music slider and turn it up just a tad. Ah, my first real challenge, Clubstep, the first demon in this challenge. Nope, not now, later. I typically count Electrodynamix as the hardest non-demon out of the main levels, although I somehow beat this in just one attempt, even though it took me 6 attempts on Clutterfunk, which I consider easier. Anyway, this level introduced speed portals, something that will become a significant issue in the other levels later down the line in this challenge. This level took me 2 attempts to finish, despite again me always saying that Electrodynamix is harder. Anyway, this level introduces a cool game mode, Duels, something that I won't need to face too often, but could still come off as an issue to me in the future. I swear, it's like this level reverts. It rewinds back to being much easier compared to the other levels, eliminating the speed portals altogether, and introducing a very cool game mode, in fact, the Wave. Haha! Funny. We'll come back to this one later. Despite it being much easier, I actually died a few times in Geometrical Dominator. Nothing all too special, although this level technically does introduce moving objects and the robot, which is pretty cool, and also love the design too. Yeah, we're gonna come back to this one last. Well, I died once in this level, but despite that, you can really see the difference of decoration between 2.0 and 2.1 significantly, honestly. Anyway, this level wasn't too hard, and I managed to scrape by quickly. Well, it's finally time. Finally time for the big challenges, the demons. Although Clubstep is technically the easiest out of the 3 rubbed-up demons, it still shows as a challenge for my left hand. Not really. This level surprisingly took me less attempts to beat than Clutterfunk. How? Well, I guess playing through this level again, I can really see how little of a challenge it is for me now compared to when I first beat it. Not all too surprisingly, Theoretically 2 took me 20 attempts, although for a demon that's not that much at all. But technically this is counted as an easy demon, so 20 attempts is not really all that impressive. But considering I'm using my weak-ass left hand, does make it quite the act for an individual like me. Well, do you remember earlier in the video when I said that one of the hard things I'd have to face in this challenge is spam? Well, yeah. Deadlocked has one specific part of the level which is considered the hardest part, where you must basically spam your way through a double wave. And might I add, it's a tight wave gap as well. At first, I thought the 3-speed wave at the beginning would become an issue, but it's not that hard whatsoever. The 3-speed double wave near the end, though, is much harder. I thought my left hand was not capable of spamming that consistently through the wave, but I was wrong. I pushed through the insane spam and dashed on through the final level of this challenge, and after jumping over some final spikes, gears and gaps, the left-handed Geometry Dash challenge was finally over. So, after venturing through all the 21 Robtop levels, this dumb little challenge has finally come to a close. It was tough to say the least, but quite fun. Getting to test the endurance and reflexes of my left hand was somewhat enjoyable. To be honest, I didn't know my non-dominant hand was capable of handling such a task of completing the harder levels, especially the 3 demons, but I guess I was wrong. Anyway, that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.